Also, I usually don't like the coleslaw places. This is pretty
You
good.
like it? Okay, so here we are, Chris and Liyah
Oh
talking
yeah.
about barbecue in Kansas City. So welcome to Barbecue Capital, real estate investing in Kansas City. We're here at the Woodyard BBQ today, and take a look at these pictures we took of the beef brisket and the pork. Oh,
Oh
it's,
yeah.
it's fantastic. And we're getting ready to bite in and talk about Kansas City real estate investing. So, Liyah, say hi to everybody.
Hello everyone. My name's Liyah and I'm a new investor in the Kansas area.
Oh, fantastic. So, hey, Liyah, you are tell a little bit about your background real fast and why you're interested in real estate investing.
Yeah. So I just came out of college and prior to college I've always been interested in
By the way, they have good beans here at Woodyard. Anyway, go
I should have got the beans. I changed my mind last minute. I was thinking about the beans.
ahead.
So yeah, prior to going to college, I was always interested in just financial personal finance. And I never really got that much time to
Wise.
I know. I never got that much time to actually look into it in the depth that I wanted to just because I was busy studying for college. But now that I am out of college, I am ready to get my investments started and start building wealth for me and my family.
So, Liyah, you came to us because one day my wife and I were driving down to Springfield, Missouri, and you called out of the blue and said, "Hey, I'm a college student, but I'm really interested in real estate investing.
Mm-hmm.
Can I be an intern for you?"
Yep,
Right?
I remember that.
And do you remember why I told you yes?
Yeah, because you're saying a lot of people my age don't actually go out there and talk to people and ask for the opportunities.
Right. So
And I made an opportunity for
learn to
myself.
ask. Right. Right. Yeah. So
Oh
you
yeah.
did that. But anyway, we're in Kansas City, Kansas here, or right there on the border of Kansas City, Kansas, and Woodyard
Hmm.
Barbecue actually got it started that supplied wood to the other barbecues. So
Hmm.
Woodyard Barbecue, and there's a sign over there that we're going to mix in here. The, Anthony Bourdain's been here with I think it was the Black Keys that he was here interviewing,
Oh wow.
and that Guy Fieri guy and the BBC. This is a fun barbecue, and it's located in a fun part of town. We're on the Kansas side today. There's also the Missouri side. We'll be hitting some of those barbecues, but we just thought we'd tell you a little bit about this neighborhood while we're here. This is a very working class neighborhood. These houses have been here since the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And then I-35 is literally 200, 300 yards that way. And this is another main road in and out of Kansas City that I like to ride my bike up and down all the way to Olathe, Kansas.
Hmm.
So it's a fun place. But you had a question for me about real estate investing, right? Like what's the number one question you have? Because you're 21 years old,
Hmm.
you're making some money now. You're working with that Astra Realty
Oh
as
yeah.
our hospitality manager, our AI person. But what's the number one question you have right now about real estate investing?
My question is, why is it so important to get a duplex for my first house rather than a single family home?
Well, listen, it's always going to fit your lifestyle, right? So if you want to
Hmm.
get a single family home, you can get a single family home.
Hmm.
But time is your friend when you're buying real estate investments, and you're young, you're not married yet, you don't have any
Hmm.
kids yet, you have a lot of flexibility. So if you were to buy a duplex, the beauty of buying a duplex first is you're going to live in one half. You may
Hmm.
even have a roommate in that one half, depending on whether you want to or not. And then on the other side, you're going to rent that out and you're going to be close to your tenants. So you're going to learn how to manage a house, how to make sure that the house is in great shape for the tenants.
Hmm.
And basically, it's one thing to learn property management from an employee standpoint. It's
Hmm.
another thing to learn it from an owner standpoint,
Right.
right? And so if you were to buy a duplex and rent out half of it, and then if you had a roommate that was renting from you on your side,
Hmm.
you would probably have anywhere between 80% and 100% of your mortgage, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance covered.
Hmm.
Think about that for a second. You'd be living for free while your mortgage is being paid down and the
Hmm.
equity is going up. Now, you can do that you can live there for a year, or I would really recommend 2 years at least.
Hmm.
And then in that 2 years, You're saving up money, you're saving up your extra cash. You're not paying down that mortgage, but you're saving up your extra cash so that in 2 years you can do it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
So now the duplex you're in, you go ahead and rent out, decide that you're in.
Yeah.
So now that duplex is paying for itself, you go buy another duplex, rent out half, and live in that half.
Mm-hmm.
You probably wouldn't even need a roommate at that point because those three sides will be paying
That'd be nice.
pretty much for everything, right?
That'd be really nice.
So that's something to consider. I'm not saying it's good for everybody. I've helped several people do this, and when they start in their 20s, it works great.
And why do you recommend just 2 years?
Well, you can do it 3 years. If you're going to buy, one of the advantages of this strategy is when you buy the home, you can buy it on an FHA loan.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy it on a
5%
3.5% down.
Mm-hmm.
3.5% down instead of 20% down. Your closing costs will be less. Your interest will be less. The other thing to keep in mind is that you have to tell them with a straight face and a believable face. You can't be committing mortgage fraud, that I'm going to live there as a permanent resident. So if you do that for a year or two, certainly you have met that threshold. Now, if something in your life changes and you have to move earlier, don't take legal advice from me. You're probably okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't commit mortgage fraud by saying I'm going to live there and then move out 2 weeks later. That might not look very good.
Right.
That makes sense?
So. Right. Mm-hmm. And can you go more in depth with the actual transition of living in your first primary home and how you're going to acquire the second home?
Well, yeah, because if you're living in there for 2 years, you now have 2 years of tax returns for the mortgage company to look at for when you're trying to buy your second home.
Mm-hmm.
So now that's not just your primary end, it's also a business. You have 2 years of track record. You have 2 years of track record of running an investment property. So it's going to make it more likely you can get your second investment property. So you've been saving money down and down and down.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can do this because the more properties you buy, the harder it is to qualify unless you've got enough history with that, because then you can count that as income. And there are different thresholds with different loan products out there. So we might bring a lender in one day and really talk about that.
Oh yeah, I would love a video about that.
Yeah, we can do that in the future.
I would love that.
So the Woodyard BBQ, like I said, it's right off I-35, easy to get to. Their sauce is classic Kansas City. Has a lot of sweetness to it. I get it on my fingers and it gets real sticky. That's because of how sweet it is. And then the beans, have that nice smoky flavor. They have really good brisket. It's really moist and tender today, which I really like. So when you come to Kansas City, if you want something a little bit adventurous, a little bit different, you've seen the pictures throughout this video of this really unique place. Check it out.
So Chris, how likely is it to get a duplex in the Kansas or Missouri side?
Very likely. If you have cash, you can buy anything, right? Pay what. It really just comes down to what's going to fit your needs with the amount of money you have available to buy, and what your actual strategy is at the time. We're talking about, house hacking, buying a duplex, buying a duplex, living in it to go on. That's because you're 21 years old. And that's a great strategy for certainly anybody who's under 30, as far as I'm concerned. Any age can do this. Please don't take this as an ageism sort of a situation. But once you have a family, that's not going to be as much fun to do, right? As you were talking about. So the advice I give you is different advice that I would give to somebody who's 50 years old and buying their first investment property, right? There's different, everybody has their own situation, their own money. When people talk about cap rate and those kinds of things, they're forgetting that only takes into income and expenses, but what about your cost of money? Because your cost of money is probably going to be different than my cost of money. Because I can probably put more money down at this point. I have more, my credit score has 40 years of history, right? That's twice as long as you've been alive. So where I'm going with this is when people hear us talking about these things, any specific advice we're giving is really geared to where I know that you are. But I've asked you a lot of questions over the weeks. If you were a client, I would be asking you a lot of questions, and we would be figuring out the best strategy for you, for where you are in your life, what your concerns are, what your hopes are.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, assuming that there are other young investors out there like me, if a duplex is on the market, wouldn't everybody run to just grab that duplex as quick as possible? Like, how likely in that situation
Depends on the
is
market.
it?
Like, I got my license in 2002. I got it in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it was a recession there. And so things would stay on the market 6 or 7 months. And then
Wow.
I came to Kansas City in 2004, started working almost exclusively with real estate investors. And it was a good market, and it got better, and it got better, and it got better, and it got better. And then in 2008, it crashed by
Yeah.
30%. And then from 2012 to 2020, it was like a roller coaster straight up. And then COVID, well, we all know what happened with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
That slowed things down for about 6 months, and then it went crazy again. Um, so if we were recording this video in 2022, I would tell you that it's tough to buy a duplex because there's so much competition. And
Yeah.
don't even think you're paying sticker price. You're going to pay way above it.
Yeah.
But things have slowed down. Things have slowed down. The roller coaster ride of real estate, it's always there, but it's always predictable. It goes like this,
Mm-hmm.
right? So just, you can't time the market. You just can't, because you don't know what
Right.
tomorrow brings. Like, we just recognized 9/11 yesterday here in this
Mm-hmm.
country. Everything was great on 9/10. Everybody thought, you know, we'd be okay.
Right.
But on 9/11, the world changed. When's that going to happen again? I don't know. I don't want that to happen. But just, if you're
Mm-hmm.
buying real estate investment property, buy it for the long term. By that I
Yep.
mean 8, 10 years. Just because it's hard to lose if you keep a property for 10 years. It's really hard. In fact, you'll probably win big.
So if there is a situation in the future where we do have a huge, like a bigger economic recession, then it's best to just hold that property. You have a mosquito on your
Oh, I don't like mosquitoes. So, but the what I would say to that is, it's not if we'll have another recession, it's when.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
I've been alive long enough. In real estate, this is my fourth recession. Between the cities I've lived in, this is my
Wow.
fourth recession, because units have been down 30% from 2022 for 3 years in a row. And based on our current financial and political situations, I don't see that changing next year. So it just is what it is. Recessions come, recessions go.
Yeah.
Boom times come, boom times go. You Before, while we were ordering lunch, you called me conservative on my investment choices. Yes, and it's worked. Time is your friend in real estate. Time.
Time
So,
and patience.
time and patience.
Oh yeah.
And with that, I think that's the video. If so, folks, I want to thank you for stopping by today. We're going to continue to have guests on this. We'd love to have you subscribe as we talk about real estate investing and eating barbecue in Kansas City. But we're just here to help. So subscribe, ask any questions, leave comments of what barbecue you'd like to see next. Bye bye.